to Synopsis Pictures. And today we will be talking about an episode of a Filipino true stories of relationships and infidelities called Tadhana, Destiny in English. Please turn closed captions on for the best viewing experience. Please click or tap on the subscribe button to support the channel. It may be a simple task for you, but it is very valuable for us. Our story starts with a woman named Lorie with her 2 crying children. She's bound to fly to Hong Kong, as she was pressured by a businesswoman whom she owed 250,000 pesos, or $5,000. Her children, on the other hand, became collateral and has to stay in a shabby factory until the debt is fully paid. In Hong Kong, Lorie worked as a caregiver of an old patient, but lost her job after a couple of months when he passed away. She begged the patient's wife to resume her job, but there's no one she could care for, since she no longer has a patient in the household. Moments later, the businesswoman called Lorie regarding her debt, but she promised she'll have them paid. One night, as Lorie walked the sidewalk, she came across a woman who asked Lorie to hide behind her luggage and jacket. She was apparently running away from cops who arrested the other working girls in the red light district. She thanked Lorie by bringing her to her place to crash, where she shares the room with 2 other women, but she's welcome to stay. Knowing that Lorie is unemployed, she offered her a job as a sex worker, to sleep with random men when paid. Out of desperation, Lorie accepted the offer. Her first customer was a Japanese tourist. It was her first night on duty, and it was difficult for Lorie. She then stood outside of the club to wait for another customer. Lorie sees a man across the street gazing at her, and she knows what's coming. Lorie was brought to his hotel room. They argued because he refused to wear protection. The man forced himself on her as she screamed for help. A fellow working girl barged in and helped Lorie get out of the hotel room. The next day, she found another customer. It was a relief for her to find him polite. The man asked her to stop selling her body on the streets. She'll be paid 2,000 Hong Kong dollars every day just to accompany him. The businesswoman was pleased with the money Lorie earned so far. She asked if her kids are all right, if they're still diligent in the studies. But she lied. They're miserable, and they are slaves in her cruel factory. Lorie's relationship with her client has been great while it lasted, but unfortunately, he'll be leaving Hong Kong soon, and she'll become a working girl once more. The man was very kind and generous. He signed a check worth more than the debt Lorie owed to the businesswoman. Lorie was brought to tears as she was overcome with bliss and hugged the kind man. Lorie came home to find the businesswoman yelling at her son. Worse, she found her daughter locked up in a cage. The 2 women scuffled. Lorie overpowered her as she was old and shoved the money she owed to her face. At home, Lorie's daughter was angry for using her own children as collateral for the money she owed. She apologized for everything they had to endure. She already has sold everything she owned, including their house and her body, just to pay the money she owed. But having her own children as collateral wasn't part of her plan. But after a good cry, they both reconciled. Time passed, and she brought her children to their new home. She apparently acquired the deed back to her old house, where they live happily. Please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, or leave a like and a comment. It will help the channel out. Thank you for watching the Synopsis Pictures.